Hey, everybody. On this episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers, we have a teacher that has his identity stolen and spoofed to get at other students. We'll find out what happened with that. Also, Nevada is trying to get teachers the right to strike. Maybe we should take it national. And lastly, prospective teacher influencers. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I'll walk you through the pros and cons. Tune in. Crying in My Car starts now. Hey everybody, welcome to Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. I'm Devin Siebold. Got my good buddy, James Yan, in the house. And we are comedians, teacher versus parent. That's how we like to do. I get a lot of compliments on the dynamic that we share here. Everybody says, hey, you guys are funny. And, I agree. And
thanks, Mom.
Hopefully everybody else will agree too. When you hit that share button, hit the thumbs up. Give us the comments on the YouTubes, on the Spotify's, and hopefully spread the word that you listen to Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Now,
5.
Yeah, and we also appreciate all of the influencers out there. There's a lot of influencers out there who share our content, and there's a lot of teacher influencers. So I keep up to date, by the way, James. Everybody says, how do you stay with your thumb on the pulse of teaching as well as you do? Well, I read the news.
Yes.
And also, I watch a lot of teacher influencers talking about things, doing sketches, trying to imitate me. You know what? It's fine. But what I also see is a lot of people trying to carve a path for themselves.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of teachers out there who see influencing as a way into another realm, whether it be extra money or notoriety, potentially a new career. And it's always interesting to me because I get messages from prospective influencers.
Okay.
I would say one a week. And it's usually somebody reaching out going, how do you do it with admin? How did you make videos in your classroom with admin there? I've heard it a million times.
Those are people who follow laws.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I tell them right off the bat. I go, you are going to get fired, but... No, what I tell them is basically always the same. I get these messages, and there's a lot of teachers out there who want to do videos in their class. They want to comment, make commentary, especially with the state of teaching that I started doing. So I started doing
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, they're killing it.
They're doing great.
But the state of teaching videos, I have a lot of teachers that want to speak out, and it's hard.
It must
because there have been some other influencers that have done things and put out videos, harmless videos, and still got that bloop, 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 bloop. Hi, HR. This is me. I'd like to have a conversation with you. You know, and they tell them no videos in the classroom, no this, no that. Most teachers have the common sense to not use the students in the videos. Some do use the students.
I've seen.
I hope that they get approval because they're looking at not only being looked down upon by other teachers and obviously parents, but as well as social media.
That's great.
Because YouTube specifically asks, are there kids in this video?
That's right.
And if there are, you better come with a reason.
That's right.
Because they don't like that. You got to have some, because too many influencers try to make money off their kids, you know?
I won't say the name, but this very popular mom, I don't know if you've heard of her. She was using her kids for videos and got in a lot of trouble because they were finding out the kids were mistreated.
Of course.
Because they were the cash cow for the family. So they were like, something's not right here.
And I will say there's some teachers that use their students' reactions and they plan things and whatnot. I won't go into all that. But what I am going to say is it's always a fine line. Now, what I want to give one bit of advice on. Okay, so if you're out there and you're a teacher influencer or thinking about becoming an influencer, I will say this. The one thing that I never did when I was in teaching and making videos is I never talked bad about a specific student or a specific parent or a specific actual instance in my school. I never said, I'm so mad that they did this. It was always oh, this generalization frustrates me. This thing that happens to all of us frustrates me.
There you
and
go.
Here's how it's funny.
That is safe, because if you just mention the wrong person, wrong kid, wrong teacher, wrong admin, they're going to be like, you were talking about me? No, I wasn't. Your name is Mr. Jenkins. I said Mr. Pankins.
Yeah.
That's completely different.
Yeah, and did you not see that I drew a mustache on the photo of you that I held up?
That makes it different, right?
Makes it different, right?
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I also get I will say this too. I also have a recommendation as well. Make it comedic. And the reason I say make it comedic is if you're funny, then they'll hopefully look past it and go, oh, that's funny. It's just a joke. They can't take it seriously.
Smart.
But make sure it's funny. Make sure your brand of humor matches other people's brand of humor. Because I see some teachers out there that put videos out and I watch it and I go, okay, I get where the joke was, but this came off mean.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's not the way to do it. But also, I say this, when it's funny, you have better protections too. Because comedy is a strongly protected First Amendment right.
Okay.
Think about Saturday Night Live when it comes to like copyright violations, when it comes to patents, when it comes to things that they just take and they put it on TV. They could make a replica of The Simpsons.
Yes.
And call it The Simpsons and have Simpsons characters, Simpsons actors, but because they're mocking it and making fun of it, it is parody. And that falls under a very highly protected comedic realm. So I will say that. Now, I don't know that I would go. I mean, some teachers go to admin and ask for permission. They're probably going to tell you no. They're going to err on the side of caution.
I was going to say, in any comedy that we do, as far as skits, and you want to do something you may have a question of, it's always better to ask for forgiveness.
I think for this particular thing, ask for forgiveness. Go, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Because chances are they're not going to fire you for making a joke in your classroom.
Probably not.
But also, chances are they'll never okay you making that joke in the first place.
Yeah.
So if I had went to my admin at first and said, look, I want to make these videos, and I think they're going to be really funny, I know exactly what he would have said. No. But once I had them out and he saw them and he was like, oh, they're pretty funny, then I had support.
There you go.
And he actually came to some of the comedy shows.
That's nice. Now, I wanted to ask you, because I remember when you made those early videos with the kids, were they eager to get in them?
So I made videos with some of my students in them, and they were excited. What I made sure is I said, are you 18? And also, will you sign this waiver? And also, here's exactly what I'm filming. So you're aware that this is the sketch and you're not going to be painted in a bad light. And this is what I want to put out there.
You covered your bases.
Oh, yeah. I got called into the office and the principal was like, Mr. Siebel, I noticed some students. And I go, yep, over 18. Here's their waivers. And also, they're okay with it. And the parents are okay with it. He's like, okay, have a good day.
That's all he wanted.
Yep.
He just doesn't want screaming parents in his office. That's it.
So, but it's a little bit more difficult because when I first started doing it, it was like, I'll tell you right now, it was me and Eddie B and maybe Casey Mack.
Yeah.
And that was it. Now there's so many teacher influencers.
That's right.
And it's, I don't know, man. I see videos sometimes in the class, like I'm like, that's how you're using your class time? You know, it seems to me like you're trying to make this about you and not about the kid.
Yeah.
You're trying to look like, you know, a superhero up there. And it's like, is your class really that good? Probably not. Are you actually doing this for views? Probably yes. You know, and then it's like, I don't know.
It doesn't seem genuine.
No, it doesn't seem genuine at all. But also other teachers watch it and they go, oh, look at that superhero teacher. I wish my class were like that. And it's not. Yeah, it gets depressing. So it's prospective teachers out there that are thinking about doing videos and stuff. Play it safe. Be funny. And put it out there. Ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
And also don't get too popular because I don't need.
Yeah, we don't need a competition.
It's kind of us right now.
And definitely don't start a podcast.
And don't start a podcast. No. Bawling in my bus. No. We're suing you. We are suing you.
Bawling in my bus. That is
don't
funny.
Do it. You'll be pandering in your anyways. All right, let's go on to the teachers, shall we?
Gotcha.
So the way we recorded these is we took a little bit of a break
We did.
For quite a few weeks. And there was some good stuff that popped up. And I was like, man, I wish we were recording. So I kept it, and I got a lot of it here, and I want to really get into it. In Portland, I'm sure you saw this.
Mm-hmm.
The high school teacher that had the door of the Alaska Airlines fall in his backyard. I'm like, of course. Teachers are just always cleaning up America's mess. But apparently a neighbor suggested he check his property for a door plug, which, by the way, who says that?
No one ever.
Hey, did you know that there was a door that fell off? You should check your backyard. It's like, what?
Wait a minute.
Why?
Yeah.
But anyways, this door, apparently, door-shaped piece of a plane propelled into the air when it flew off the aircraft. We all saw the story. Mm-hmm. And apparently landed in a teacher's backyard. Gotcha. And it just figures.
Well, you know who else got probably freaked out by the whole thing?
What?
The person sitting next to the door that came off.
Probably a teacher as well.
Yeah.
Probably.
This might as well happen.
By the way, I'm not going to lie. That thing happened and the piece flew off. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, I'm flying on a Boeing jet. And I'm literally right on the wall. And I sit down and I'm like...
Yeah.
Just hit it. I'm literally checking out the bolts. Yeah. I'm looking at the wiring. I was like, you
got a stud finder? Like
beep, beep. I was so worried.
I would be, bro. You're braver than I am.
I had to go to the restroom, and I was like, if I stand up right now, and then
I'm gone.
Right out the window.
You're so tall, you get stuck. Like, I would. You wouldn't even go out of the plane.
That would be the worst. They'd be like, he saved 17 lives.
The pressure comes back.
Just blocked it all. But I would flown and checked it. And you fly on some of these planes. Some of them, bro, we got to update these planes.
You're like, how did they get wings on this bus?
Can I tell you right now that I flew on a plane recently, within the past 2 months, that had the ashtray.
Oh, that's an old plane.
James, when I tell you I sat down and I was like, ooh, what's it?
Oh, that's not good.
No, this is not.
What's worse, it still had ashes in it.
Yeah.
Wait up.
Yeah, you can smoke on this one. We're fine with it. What? Yeah,
a plane that had an ashtray, that had to be 78.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it had it in the middle and it had it on the wall. Like, you ever seen the fold-out one?
Yes.
With the wall, which, by the way, let's throw red hot ash into the wall of the plane.
There you go.
Which also, by the way, this plane never had the door pop off, and it's not new. So maybe we just go back to all the smoking planes.
Smoke helps keep it insulated.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. It keeps the pressure right.
There you go.
I don't know.
Could you imagine getting a hot box on a plane?
Man,
how did that even work?
You remember when it was smoking everywhere?
Yes, I worked in restaurants all my life. Yes, I remember smoking or non.
Cracker Barrel. When I was a kid, you had to walk through the smoking to get to the non-smoking.
Yes.
Do you know what separated the smoking and the non-smoking?
Nothing.
Lattice.
Yeah.
With the holes in it.
Yes.
You're literally sitting this close with a lattice and somebody's smoking, and you're like, well, it's a good thing we're not over there.
That would be crazy.
It's just pouring through. Mm-hmm. The lattice catches fire. You're like, well, at least I'm not on a Boeing jet.
What would you guys like to order? What can I start you out with? Well, first off, cancer. I can get
just
that.
Just a side of that. Just a little bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
Yep. They got to update the planes. It's
That's
time.
crazy, though.
But this was a new plane. Did you see it? It's a Boeing, one of the Max.
Oh, that's right.
The new ones.
Yeah. Who's building them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably teachers.
Wow. Poor teachers.
They think we're creating the problem, and we got to clean up the problem.
There you go.
All right. Next one. This one, I hope it works, but I don't think it will. Teachers Union in Nevada filed an initiative to ask the legislative voters and the voters to legalize strikes for educators. So apparently striking is not legal in Nevada. The only thing that is illegal in Nevada is striking.
Yeah. Anything else goes.
Yeah, anything else goes. It's you.
Now, explain that to me, because we've talked about this a little bit before, where you explained, look, when we signed a contract, part of the negotiation was that we would not ask for more money or we would not ever strike.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what that is there?
So it says currently there is a law in place that bars all public employees from striking and establishing binding arbitration as a remedy for contract negotiations. So
No public.
no public striking.
That means waste. That means everything.
Yeah, but like what they said, and this is what I agree with, is the union out there has been like, look, we have contract negotiations that have been going on for 10 months. Mm-hmm. If we were allowed to strike, those would have been going on for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's true. The places that strike, they get it done.
That's right.
And they it's done. Mm-hmm. There it is. And I've said before, I think we need to, as teachers, look at a national strike. I think that is something that should come up because it's
Could
time,
you imagine that?
It's time.
Okay, let's just play this out. Every teacher in America on a given day would be like, no. It has to be an important day though.
It has to be an important day.
It has to be an important day where you really want teachers there.
Right, yeah, you got to, sure.
It has to be a day where no parent wants to have to stop doing what they're doing to have to go get their kid because there's no
What
school.
about Election Day?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I was
What
thinking.
about Election Day? That's a good one because it would
That's a-
inconvenience parents. It get national attention.
Yes, it would.
And get the politicians talking.
It definitely would.
But I think it's just time we put up with too much. Dude, I almost reposted it the other day because I reposted it like 4 or 5 times.
Uh-huh.
In 2015, so that was now 9 years ago.
Can't believe that.
9 years ago, I posted a story on my Facebook that said Florida governor proposes $50,000 a year state minimum wage for teachers. And there was hundreds of comments. About time. Yay, $50,000. And I shared it 9 years ago. And do you know what I said at the top? I said it's an election year. They always do this. It'll never happen. And guess what? 9 years later, we still don't have $50,000 as the starting pay.
That's right.
Still do not have that.
So I get what you're saying, man. If it was a national strike, brought everything crashing to a stop.
We'd get them to stop the pandering.
Yes.
They'd actually have to act. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is I Google, teachers in the news. Do you realize I went through page after page after page of South Carolina is proposing a teacher increase. Lawmaker proposes governor proposes teacher increase. New budget has teacher pay increase.
Yeah.
You know what happens every single time? It's proposed. It's in the budget. And at the last second, they line item strike it because they just want it for the positive press.
Yes.
The negative press never comes back.
No.
They just get get all the reporters in. They go, hey, this is what we're going to do. And it's every year.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's an election year. Get ready. It's going to be every single day on the news. You know what teachers deserve? Yeah, we do. We've heard it for the past 20 years. We know exactly what they deserve. Or when are you going to act?
It's an election year. This just in. All teachers will go to heaven. That's right.
Yeah.
Vote now.
But we'll see if this happens. It looks like that they have 14 days to pose a challenge to the initiative. And it looks like 600 statewide poll of 600 likely voters supported 70% were for the striking ability of teachers. And I think that's pretty telling. They believe,
I believe in this country it should be your right to be able to strike.
What's wild, man, is like everybody knows what we do to teachers and how we treat them.
Yes.
And everybody supports not doing that and treating them better.
Yes.
But we don't.
Do anything.
Because it's a political football. Mm-hmm. Guess what? If we would have gotten that $50,000 a year raise, what would they have campaigned on next time?
They don't have anything.
If you pay teachers a livable wage, what do you have to campaign on?
Nothing.
Nothing. So, yeah, exactly. This one, oh, man, I got sent this so many times as a Teachers in the News, and I'm sure that it's been well discussed by the time this airs, by the time our podcast gets to it. But there was a teacher who apparently had relations with a student, and I say relations not to downplay it. It's just there's words I can't say on the podcast.
You should not say.
Yes, yeah. And apparently this teacher did things they weren't supposed to do with the student, and the dad knew and okayed it, and the dad's now going to jail.
Of course,
happened in Missouri.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because that's wrong.
Yes.
It's a child.
Yeah, it's 26-year-old teacher, 16-year-old student, and the dad apparently knew of everything that was happening. And rather than the police just go, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that," they acted and they arrested him.
Gotcha.
And now he's facing it's one count of endangering the welfare of a child.
Absolutely.
I think it should be something more than that. I mean, if you knowingly know that this is happening,
you're basically saying it's okay to abuse my child
or a child in general.
Yeah,
I mean, that should be an overall law. Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask? Where was the mom?
It doesn't say anything about the mom.
Mom, gotcha.
Yeah, but I will say they posted, not on this article, but they posted some pictures of the dad. Yeah. And what in the Cletus T. Judd?
Okay.
I mean, bro, I try not to judge people, but what in the? I mean, chin down, Earnhardt hat, sleeves, get her done in front of his trailer with a gun sign on the side of the trailer.
Stop.
And I'm like, could you have Joe Dirted this anymore? It is.
I'm Joe Dirt.
I mean, I don't mean to make fun of people, but come on, man. It's one of those things like.
Okay, I'll speak as a parent. I know you're a parent as well. That is disgusting.
It is.
That a child, but your child as well.
Yeah.
And how is that going to be okay?
It's so I'm not defending this at all. I will never defend this. But what I know is backwoods, kind of lifestyle is different than what we know.
Okay.
And sometimes things like that, I mean, in these small rural communities, they happen and people just turn the other way because it's just everybody knows everybody and it's whatever, it's sad, but that's sometimes the way it happens in these backwoods communities.
I will ask this, is there a double standard at play here for the parent? Was it a...
Oh, imagine if it was his daughter.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Still wrong.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is a double standard.
Yeah, he'd be going to jail for something else.
He definitely would be. Yeah, absolutely.
But you're right. Yeah. It's that double standard there. All right, the next one, local students and a teacher. This is a fantastic piece that I read, and I honestly think that I wish there was more opportunities like this. Apparently, there's a castle, Sauer, S-A-U-E-R, Sauer Castle, in doing a restoration project in Kansas City, Kansas, and a teacher was asked to document it.
Okay.
Now, the teacher said, great, that'd be cool. I'd love to document it. I have some students that are into making movies and wanting to learn a lot more about camera editing. And they said, can I bring my students? And they said, sure. So the students are getting hands-on historical documentation, videography skills, editing, and they're working with the teacher after school to get some hands-on with the broadcasting department.
Know what I just heard as a parent? You got my kid interested in school, but they're willing to give their time after.
Outside
Come
of school.
on, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the real world experience.
Yeah.
You just don't see. I mean, I think I may have told you this, but when I was a kid, I was in a gifted student program.
Yeah.
And we had real world experience that we did too. We
There you
built a
go.
glass bottom boat and sailed it down the Banana River. We built it
That is amazing.
as second graders.
What?
Yeah, we built a glass bottom sailboat.
Now, what was the purpose behind the glass bottom boat? You guys are like, hey, you know what we should do?
We just wanted to build a glass bottom boat.
To see if we can make it work.
Yep.
And you did it as second graders.
Yep, making all the measurements. And when I say we actually built it, we actually built it.
Wow.
I'm talking like drilling holes, screws, nails, calculating everything on that boat. We did it.
Second graders.
Second graders.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah, and then we did it after school. During school we built it. After school we sailed it, and then not only when we sailed it, when we were done, we pulled up to this inlet, and there was like a marine life biologist that was there to give us hands-on, literally going, "There's marine life here. Let's go catch it." And we took our shoes off and we went through and waded through the water and caught these little tiny fish, and she would tell us all about it. And it was so that kind of stuff, man, is invaluable. Now,
You never forgot it.
Let me tell you right now. Do you know what I wanted to be when I went to college?
You want to be a marine biologist?
I did.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Because of that experience.
Second grade.
That's amazing.
That experience
You
changed
never
me.
forgot it.
Never
I
forgot
love that, man.
And I was so into it. And then I ended up taking a basketball deal at a school that didn't have marine biology. So I had to change it.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to tell people, listen, follow your dream, kids, if you're watching this right now. But if you got a great jump shot,
follow that.
Follow that.
Because it'll pay for the other dreams.
It sure will. It sure will.
It'll pay for the other dreams. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. But I applaud this teacher for literally hearing, hey, we need a project done, and her going, my students, I mean, just to think of that first, my students would love this. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can get involved outside of school, hands-on. And I bet they're better students in school because of it.
That's right.
I bet they respect her more. And
it sounds like it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, this last one. This is kind of a long one, but I love this story. This is a teacher who went to go teach in China. Not online, virtual. This is actually, they left American schools and went to go teach in China.
That's impressive.
So apparently they were in a private school in Chicago, expensive private school in Chicago, and then went over to China to teach in one of the international schools. And they have said that there's some definite differences between Chinese schools and American schools. And man, reading some of this, I'm like, why can't we? Why do we always have to look at the other countries and go, man, that'd be nice. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
Because I'm pretty sure it has to do with infrastructure and resources.
Right. And it says that one of the main things that they emphasize is learning a second language in China. Mm-hmm. A lot of the kids learn English. In fact, some of the days they're only allowed to speak English in the hallways.
Wow.
They can't speak Mandarin. They have to speak English in the hallways. Also, they emphasize naps in China.
Okay. All right. Now you got me.
Have you
China, if you're listening, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're listening.
Yeah. I did see a balloon.
Yeah.
On the way here. I'm going to make a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a new podcast, Crying in My China. Have you seen it?
Have you seen it?
I saw it.
It's amazing.
But it's amazing how they really want kids to relax. They have 1 to 2 hours each afternoon to nap, or they can return to their home or homeroom to rest. But there is a mandatory, we're going to rest.
And I bet they excel in their academics.
Yep.
I bet they're good at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, they have it's like a health priority,
Yeah.
These kids are tired. And sometimes there's been times where I just want to take a nap. And guess
Absolutely.
what? I can take a nap. They can take a nap.
Yep.
We can do 2-hour naps during the day, an hour, take a little siesta or rest. I mean, I used to go to a summer camp.
Yeah.
I actually was a head counselor at a summer camp. And
I remember.
had siesta. Mm-hmm. So after lunch, we would have 1 hour where the kids would go back and they didn't have to sleep, but we just required it to be quiet time, rest, get your mind right.
That's right.
And guess what? They needed it. Those
right.
kids would be, I don't need it. And then they'd go to they'd be out and then they'd sleep for an hour. They wake up, they go, all right, second half of the day, let's do it.
Get it.
And let's get it. And there was an energy, and we had more energy too. As
Absolutely.
counselors, for sure.
And it goes further than that. It's just not a normal health practice. It's a mental health exercise.
Yep. Now, also in China, they said students perform eye exercises throughout the day intended to alleviate stress and eye tension from long hours of study.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Also, they have many extracurricular activities. It says, this teacher wrote, when I ask my students about their plans for the evening or the weekend, they respond with badminton, calligraphy, French, Spanish, soccer, choir, violin, piano, science fair. That's interesting. Well-rounded, yes. And it says they also have a very high expectations. That it's moving up in society is directly linked to your education.
That's right.
And what you can do, what languages you can speak, what you're capable of.
Opposite here, and follow me along.
Yeah.
Lately, what we've been hearing from people is college is not the answer.
Yeah.
It's not that way over there.
Yeah. Now, they also say that security is not as needed in China. They said that they have security guards there. They have 1 security guard on each school campus, and it's protecting them from the outside, not from each other. Violence is not a common occurrence in these schools. They don't fight each other.
And if I'm correct, and please fact check me, people listening, I don't believe that handguns are available to the public in China.
No, not at all.
No,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
And it even says, they said, this teacher wrote, many international schools will have lockdown drills. We have bulletproof glass installed, and
What?
yeah, in Florida and in this United States for sure. There's schools that have bulletproof glass installed, active shooter drills. She said that it's so uncommon any sort of violence there that a car backfired in the school building, and she was the only one that jumped in fear. None of the kids
Because
moved.
she had no idea. Like,
Yeah, she was like, "What was that?"
wow.
You know, thinking that there was fearful, and they just didn't experience that fear. So it's incredible.
Like,
Also,
ma'am, calm down. Here's some tea. Yeah, relax.
they also said this is going to shock you, James. They have they're respected. I know, I know.
But can we say what it is? All
Yeah.
the wonderful things you're saying about that is the culture of that particular environment.
It says teachers are viewed as experts in their field in China.
Yes.
And get this, James. This I about fell out of my chair and went to sleep for an hour. Parents ask me for advice about parenting as the teacher. They come to them and say, how can I improve as a parent? What do you see? They're highly involved in education. Ask how they can support with home, extra resources, extra assignments.
All right. Let's say that again for the people in the cheap seats. Parents and teachers in China are allies.
Looking at it from a teacher's perspective, you have kids that are willing to learn. You
Yeah.
have kids that are safe. You have parents that are active. You have the ideal of what, we would like here.
Resources.
And we sit here and go, what can we do? Why don't we ever look at what others do? I've said this before, that our main problem in the United States is we are the most individualized we have ever been.
Yes.
At a time where we need to be more cooperative than we ever have been.
Yes.
There's too
True
many
statement.
of us. We're sharing too much of the land together. We are sharing the roads. We're sharing, life together. We need to work together.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we are pushing individuality so hard.
Who's going to gather us all together?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Got
Yep.
it.
State of teaching.
Gotcha.
I've seen Siebold 2024 a few times, and
I didn't argue with it.
I didn't argue. Can I be honest? I've never wanted to enter politics.
Never. Bro.
I've never. Hold on. Let me finish that. I've never wanted to enter politics more and less at the same time.
I understand that.
I want to see change. I
Yeah.
want to be part of the change.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of them coming after me or my family or my kids or
Yeah.
the brutality of
Yes.
politics.
Yes.
It's one of those things where I want the change, but in order to get the change, you have to literally sacrifice yourself. All right, the last thing is a teacher in the news, but I want to bring it up because it goes into our last topic.
Okay.
So there's a teacher who was recently cleared of allegations against them that they had sent Snapchat messages to a middle schooler.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, they sent Snapchat messages to a middle schooler. They were apparently sending provocative ones, asking for pictures, and apparently sent some pictures of their own. Sounds absolutely terrible, right?
Yeah. Horrendous.
Yeah, but it wasn't him. It was somebody spoofing him. So apparently an investigation has been complete. This person has been cleared of all allegations, and they said that he was a victim of identity spoofing. Somebody was claiming to be that teacher at that middle school to gain power over the students and get them to send the pictures, get them to engage in the Snapchatting back and
And then
forth.
use this guy as a patsy.
Yep, and apparently it was somebody that they sent a picture, and it looked like him, had the same beard, and it looked like it was going to be that person. And the kids were spreading rumors at school. Oh my goodness, I can't believe my teacher did that. Yeah. And apparently they went after him, and they were saying that apparently they were wrong. It wasn't him. And the superintendent said, I have children of my own in this school district. I feel 100% comfortable with this teacher teaching my child. They're an upstanding teacher. They're a great teacher. And they apparently had somebody come after them. Now, the sad part is we don't know. I didn't see if there's anyone that apparently they caught, but they said that the Snapchat records found the original sender came from an IP address in Ohio, 600 miles away.
Can I tell you, as a person, that's terrifying that someone could steal your identity and do that with it.
So the reason that I bring this up is really tantamount to what we are experiencing as a society. I had this happen 2 days ago. I got a text message, and the text message, I'll read it right now. Okay, so it says, "Good morning, Devin. Kindly reply back to this text ASAP. It's work-related, signed," and it has a name, okay? And I was like, "Good morning, this is Devin." And I thought that was really weird because that name, by the way, I didn't recognize the number. That name is the CEO of Premier Speakers Bureau, where I speak.
That's right.
And I said, "Good morning, this is Devin." And they responded, "How are you, Devin? I need you to do something for me real quick. Are you free now, Devin?" And I thought to myself, that's odd. That's an odd way to talk to somebody.
It is.
Now, how is things? How'd your last speaking engagement go?
Hey.
It's been a while. Hey, can you call me real quick?
Yeah.
Did you get your email? Can I send you an email? To see that, I was like, and it threw up just a little red flag. And so I sent an email to them. I said, "Hey, you didn't just text me, right?" And they're like, "No, I didn't."
Got it.
Somebody found my name on the Premier Speakers Bureau website. My number is readily available in public. I need to change it. I get so many weird calls, but it's readily available.
I told you
in
I
the
was
public.
sorry.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I noticed on my Instagram, I think that my number was available for a while,
Yeah.
and somebody took it. So here's the deal: my number is available online. The fact that I work for Premier Speakers is available online, and the CEO's name is available online. Somebody spoofed it to try to get me to do something. I didn't engage further with it.
Gotcha.
I blocked them right away.
Yeah.
But that we're seeing that constantly, and we're seeing these people preying on kids, on people. I'm lucky enough that I was like, oh, you know what? I've engaged in many professional conversations, and if this is an actual CEO,
Yeah.
and I'm one of the speakers for his bureau, I don't think he would talk to me this way.
He would not.
And so I, deductive reasoning, decided to check it first.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't check it.
They would not.
I am pushing for this, and I've said it many, many times, and I really hope we do this. We have got to have training for these children on how to not be fished, how to not be spammed, how to not be catfished, how to not be... There's too much false information out there.
Yes.
And they are just wanting to grab it.
Or just assume because you're hitting me up on social media, this must be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot of trust or assuming just because I use this platform every day, I get text messages all the time about work and people wanting to hire me. So of course this is real. They know the CEO's name. This has to be legit.
Right.
You have to go a step further.
Yeah. I mean, what's to stop these kids like, oh, this guy on Snapchat? He's a teacher. Our teachers, our pictures are online.
Yeah.
Our names are online.
That's right.
What we teach is online.
That's right.
You can go to these schools' website and see that the English teacher for 9th grade is Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown looks this way. I can click save on that. I can create an Instagram profile,
Yeah, you
say,
can.
Mrs. Brown, love teaching my 9th graders, and then I can message all the 9th graders at that particular school, people that I can easily find online. I can look up the location on Instagram.
That's right.
I can literally put this high school on Instagram location,
Yeah.
find it, look at all the kids tagged, and then message one of them and go, hey, so you want to send me some photos? You want to, and it's a power play. At that point, you have power over them because you're the teacher.
That's right.
But you're not actually acting as a teacher. Somebody else maliciously is.
That's right.
We need the kids to be able to go, that's an odd request. Let me look at this profile. Would they set this up that way? Would they engage in conversation?
It was only
with
made
this way?
yesterday.
Yeah, there's ways to check that.
Yeah.
I don't think these kids have the tools.
I would disagree.
Oh, in the social media realm?
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Texting, phone calls,
No,
emails.
that's where.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to getting communicated that way.
Yeah.
From powers
But
of be.
even then,
Yeah.
with Instagram and stuff like that, I have students that get duped all the time.
Do they really?
Oh man, I can't tell you. I've friended students on Facebook for ages, and you keep up with them and their family and stuff like that. You know how many students I've had share the Mark Zuckerberg on May 5th is going to make us pay if we don't share this.
That's
Copy
right.
this
That's
status.
right. Yeah, I've seen
And I'm
those.
like, there's an easy way to disprove this. You didn't. What else are you being duped on?
Aha. There you go. You're right. I did see that, by the way.
Yeah, you shared it. No, I'm just kidding. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But that's the thing, though. These kids and adults got to be trained on this stuff. I think that the boomer generation, we've kind of lost them. I think that because I see boomers get duped all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know how many boomer friends of mine on Facebook have sent me something? Don't open that.
Yeah.
And I sent that to. Sorry, I was hacked.
Listen.
It's like, wait, you weren't hacked. Let's get that. You were not hacked. You clicked on something you weren't supposed to.
You were duped.
You didn't look at the top of the line and see that it wasn't an official website of whatever and you went ahead and logged in and you gave them your password and then they accessed your account. And chances are they probably texted you and said, hey, this is such and such from Facebook. Can you confirm the number that I just sent you? And they go, oh, yeah, sure, it's this number. And then they got access immediately.
Yeah. Facebook will never message you.
No.
Or return your phone calls.
No.
Just so you know.
Mark Zuckerberg wants nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
But I'm sitting there. I get that all the time from the boomer generation.
My mom.
I just worry about the younger generation too.
My mother gets,
Yeah. But especially with everything flipping over to being online so much.
Everything.
I mean, these kids got credit cards and stuff. I worry sometimes because I've got all my credit cards in my phone.
On your phone. You don't even pay with cash or a credit card.
It's all stored.
Just my phone.
I worry.
Yeah, I know.
You know? So, but luckily, I think I'm smart enough to hopefully not get duped.
Well, and I don't want anybody out there listening to ever try to identity theft me because you're going to owe money. So,
Right.
So don't do that.
But yeah, so when I saw that this happened to that teacher and then literally read this article the day after somebody tried to impersonate someone else to get to me.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, man,
that's
is
scary,
very worrisome.
For both sides. You know, they're trying to do malicious things to kids, but also as a person, you feel like, what if this went the other way?
Yeah.
What if no one believed me? Like, I would be shunned.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's
And
scary,
plus,
man.
I mean, it's kind of scary, too, because obviously this teacher, during the course of this investigation, probably had to give up their own phone.
Yeah.
And, you know, I value my privacy.
So do I.
I don't want police officers having my text messages and going through everything.
They're my thoughts.
There's nothing negative in there, but it's an intrusion.
Yes.
It's a unnecessary intrusion.
You feel violated. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would think that, you know, I would worry too that you're setting somebody up to be, you know how they do swatted? Like this is the virtual version of swatted.
Absolutely.
I think anyways.
You got me.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. And obviously, if this has ever happened to you, I'd love to hear your story. You know, it's a new year too. I do want to remind you, we would love to have some guests on this year. Last year, we had a few guests on every now and then, but we'd love to have some of you zoom in. So if you're a teacher and or a former teacher, it's usually better for former because sometimes teachers get on and they go, here, let me talk about this. And it's like, okay. And then they come on the show and you're like, so you really want to talk about that? You know, I don't, does it get online? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to, so if you're a former teacher and you want to talk about something, have a great story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Message us at any of the social medias. If you message me directly, it works a lot better.
And if you're a teacher selling America's best chocolate, message me.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
He's a big fan of that.
Big fan.
World's finest, by the way.
Finest, not best. You're right. Finest.
World.
Yeah. Not America.
Not even American's finest chocolate.
America, best dang city in the world.
All right. And obviously, the Board Teacher Store is out there touring to a city near you. Please come find us. Come see a show. Most of them are already sold out or close, but, you know, hopefully we'll see you on the road. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. There might be a clip up there. There might be a clip down there. If it's got our face, if it's other people's stuff, come back. Don't click on that. You know, but us suggested things. That's us crying in my car. Devin Siebold, James Yon, Board Teachers. Watch. New trailer for Indiana Jones. No, don't do that. Don't do that.